All right, we got another video here on success with brokers, and I don't mean freight brokers. I mean underwriters, brokerages, Amwin, CRC, RPS, all that stuff. So no matter how big you are, if you guys are alliance partners, if you guys are, hey, I just got my first trucking policy ever sold. You need brokerages no matter what. I've got some pretty good exclusive markets. We also do not have a $50 million trucking premium book. So we use brokerages still. We still kill it. Northland is what I think the fourth largest trucking insurer. I think Canal is the fifth largest. First is Progressive. Geico, believe it or not, is I don't know, third. I think it's Great West is still second. I think the third. Great West second, and then Geico, and then you have whoever. So Northland's big, Canal's big, IT stupid competitive. We just closed a $31,000 premium account, 4 years in business, South Dakota. Came from Berkshire. Went to IET, 31,000 premium, 3 trucks, and I think they were paying like 50 or it was a lot, maybe even more. I think they had 4 trucks at the time, so it was a lot. We smoked their rates. IT's killer. Crum and Forster is stupid competitive. Berkeley Small Business, I've actually gotten a couple indications from them. They've been very competitive. They've accessed a lot of them have access to Nirvana. You got Nyco. I don't think I got a single piece of business with Nyco. I've had one quote ever that they were semi-competitive on. Nyco is like your BHHC. They are not good at semi-trucks at all, really. They are decent on dump trucks, tow trucks, box trucks, cargo vans, anything that's not a semi-truck, right? They can be all right. You got a little hair on them. Maybe like a new venture in a tough state or something like that. Driving a tow truck, yeah, Nyco might be all right, but they're not going to be KBK. So that's your brokerages, right? So brokerage is a solid player. I've talked to a gal at Reliance Partners. She was placed in business with Paramount, ATA, like bunch of different brokerages because she was in Texas. And so the tougher the state, the more brokerages are going to come to play. Like California, Northland just dominates the place. And then you got Lancer, who's really good in California too. And you go to IMCO. So regardless, I'm taking a long time explaining this, but brokerages are basically a necessity. It's not E&S business with trucking. They are just a necessity when it comes to trucking insurance, okay? But when I first started, I'd send stuff to brokerage and I would get no response. I sent to my my second ever account, $330,000 account, couldn't even get a response on it. It's because I realized I suck. My submission sucked. I had no good. All right, I had to pause it there, but yeah, I mean, really just knowing the brokers, having a relationship with them. If you can have a relationship with the broker, it makes all the difference. The 2 brokers I've used, I met in person. Actually, all 3. I only use 3 brokerages. I do not recommend having a million. Met an agency owner that had 30, and I couldn't imagine it'd be a nightmare. You can't build enough premium with them to even make any sense of it. Also, that's the other thing too. You got to have some premium. So when you're starting off with a new brokerage, you better be binding one of the first 3 policies. If you're not binding something right away, good luck keeping that relationship and actually getting quotes back anytime soon. I've got a broker I met in person, said, hey, give me a chance here. I've never had anybody explain the underwriting guidelines to me. So once I get the underwriting guidelines kind of figured out, as we do some submissions, we'll start getting some stuff bound, and I always submit serious people. If I got a guy who says I need insurance tomorrow and I need the down payment to be really cheap, I don't even remotely think about sending them to brokerage. You can be 20% down at all times. And it depends on the PFA there, but I was 20% down because there's an 82% cancellation rate with 15% down payments or less on brokerages or on PFAs. So I only offer 20% down. I don't even try to negotiate. And so I say, hey, just heads up, your down payment's gonna be probably roughly this amount. I give it a little bit high just in case, and then I go from there. So have a good relationship, find policies, know them in person if you can. Meet them at MCIEF, Motor Carrier Insurance Education Foundation. Met a lot of them there, talked to them for like 6 hours or so, and then started sending submissions, and we were getting quotes back in 24 hours. Here is what you got to submit to get a good quote. Do not cheap out on, or do not try to get around this stuff. Oh, hey, I don't have loss runs yet, but their company says he doesn't have any losses. Do not submit it until you got loss runs. You can either use their quote form or make your own. Do not submit accords. Make sure the quote form has date of hire on the drivers, like Occidental, IET, the same company. It's a huge thing for them. And the broker is not going to take a guess on it for you. They're not going to go do the work for you. They're not going to ask you insured. It's your job. Make sure you got date of hire, years of CDL experience. 2+ is not an okay answer. It is going to be 18. It is going to be 1.5. It is going to be whatever. Basically, everybody requires 2 years except for NICO. So just know that. Garaging zip code. If they say their business in Iowa, they garage in Wisconsin, you got to tell them that. You got to know this stuff. Cargo, general freight is not an acceptable answer. They haul general freight. No, it is. They haul bottles, plastic, pallets, refrigerated fruit. If it's refrigerated fruit, it's going to be shrimp, eggs, meat, produce. Because some guys will exclude eggs. Some guys will exclude shrimp. Some guys will not take ice cream. So you got to know exactly. Say, hey, give me examples of what you're hauling. Put down the specifics. General freight, reefer does not count. Annual mileage. BSB has a cap on 125,000 miles per year per truck. And Canal has a pay-per-mile program. So get the annual mileage per truck. ELD provider / dash cams. If they have dash cams, great. If they have an ELD provider, let them know who it is. The owner's information. Even if they're not a driver, you got to have it. And know if the owner is not a driver. I mean, obviously. Because like Canal, for example, will require the owner to be a driver for the first couple of years if it's a newer venture or something. If they're owned, leased, or rented for the trucks, if they're fleet, they're probably all owned, obviously, maybe most of the time. But if you get like a guy who's got a box truck, I mean, a lot of those guys are renting them or leasing them or something. Nobody wants a rented box truck or week by week rented. So you got to know if it's owned, leased, or rented. Radius and percentage of radius. I'll show you guys this here real quick. Like I have categories. They do 30% of the loads within 0 to 50 miles. You got this and this and this. So then I go max radius, unlimited. So then have the increments all set out. Get the percentage of where they are at. If this for the last 4 quarters. Not an absolute necessity, but I highly recommend it. It depends on the carrier. Like you might be able to get an indication without it. And if you guys have access to Cover Whale, just imagine that everybody's system is like this, like their IET system, Canal, Cover, like Northland. Just imagine the brokers using stuff like this. So if you don't give them that stuff, they might just throw in a dummy number, and it's an indication, kind of like what Cover Whale does. But then once you get the actual facts, then you get your hard quote, and then you can actually go bind. So some of them are submissions like that too. So just kind of imagine it's a Cover Whale system. They got to submit sometimes. But yeah, last 4 quarters are definitely helpful. You might have to get an indication without it. Give them a story. These guys get, gosh, I had my underwriter tell me she gets like 20 or 30 submissions a day. So they're not even quoting most of the stuff. So you got to give a story on why this thing's going to bind, why they want insurance, what's going on. If they're shopping midterm, you better have a dang good reason. You can't shop midterm unless it's Canal and they're coming from Progressive or Geico, because they'll raise rates middle of the year. But if they're not doing that, then you can't just go say, hey, this guy's with Great West, he wants a Northland quote, and he's 6 months from renewal. But you do have a good story, like, hey, he's getting midterm canceled, hey, he moved states, hey, he's going to start hauling something new, and his current insurance company won't allow it. Or even if they're coming for renewal, say, hey, here's kind of the story in this guy. Claims explanations when you get the loss runs. If they got a $50,000 claim, give an explanation on it. If they get a zero payout claim, give an explanation on it. You don't really need an explanation on a lot of that stuff that's under 40,000. So you can probably get by without it. But if it's a zero payout, just kind of explain why maybe, because that definitely helps. And then anything over 40,000, 100%. 3 years of loss runs if it's fleet. 5 years of loss runs, non-negotiable. Never send it without that stuff. I don't care if you got a 2-day lapse in that. You better have an explanation or get those last 2 days of loss runs. Current/target premium, again, like what I was saying there, they get so many submissions. If you don't give it current premium, they're paying $4,000 a truck. The underwriter you have is going to be like, I know I'm not going to touch that rate. So they're not even going to quote it. But if you don't give a current/target premium, they're not going to quote it either. So give that, because you got to give them full explanation on why they got to quote it. You guys think about this. Brokers are just like you. Imagine you as an agent get 1 million submissions. You get 20, 30 submissions a day. Okay. You get a VA that's quoting it. And you're like, hey, I got so many submissions. I'm not going to quote a $500 policy. I don't want to waste my time on it. I'm going to make $50 off it. Right. You got to give unless this current client gives you a full submission, like, hey, I got lost. I got everything for you, big guy. Here's all my information to quote. And then you might be like, I got a quick market for it. I got a quote that's got AI underwriting on it. Like, I've got a current company, Berkeley small business, that I can quote an office in like 2 minutes. Yeah, I don't want to quote a $500 policy, but if it takes me 2 minutes, yeah, it's $50 in 2 minutes. Sure, I'll do that real quick. So, if you got a good explanation on this stuff, you got to remember these guys are paid on commission too, and they get bonuses on it. I don't know how their pay structure is, but they definitely get incentivized with a commission, and they get paid a lot less commission than us. But you want to still have a good submission. You got to think these guys are just like us. If you got a bunch of tire kickers reaching out to you, and you got 3 good guys a day, you're going to work on the 3 good guys, and you're probably not going to work on any of the tire kickers. So that's how it works. Who to work on for who to work with for brokers? CRC is good. They do not have access to Canal. Canal is my largest brokerage company, so that's the only reason I don't use them. They're still really good. They're the largest Northland writer in the nation, so if you're big with Northland, CRC is great. Amwin's fantastic. I got a good relationship over there. They've got a ton of programs, anything from, let's see here. They got an intermodal program. They've got a hazmat program. They got an NEMT program. They got a waste hauler program. They have a towing program, repo program. I'm missing one here. Dirt, sand, and gravel program. A lot of that's through Obsidian, so very good. And Amwins just has access to everybody. They got Canal. They got all the major markets. Again, the major markets are Crum and Forrester, BSB, Canal, IET, Northland, NICO, and they usually got a program, and then sometimes they usually got Nirvana too. RPS, also very good, just like Amwins. I just go with whoever you have a better relationship with. They have a transfers program, very similar to the Obsidian program. Both are basically fleets. Tim National, excuse me, does not have access to any of the major guys. It is all program business over there. They do use Surefy, so you can go do like an online submission, so that's kind of nice. But these accredited, Trisura, Protective, and they got a waste hauler program. They also have a contingent AL, cargo, all that type of stuff too. XPT, I think they have IET, AIG. These are the non-fleet markets I'm talking about. Like a lot of these guys have AIG and all those guys too. XPT is a Transverse and Highlander program that's really, really big in Texas, actually. 180, I couldn't tell you anything about them anymore. They used to be the largest night writer in the nation. I think they maybe lost night. I kind of heard some news that they might be losing or lost night, and I don't know if they got clearable anymore either. But yeah, I will say I do not mess anything bad about 180, but I've had a nightmare of an experience with their accounting team. I mean, like it's been a nightmare. So we'll be careful on who you're working with there. So I like the big guys. Let me see if I can find something here real quick. I'm going to pause this for a second. Okay, I'll show you guys this. I also keep a database of everything. So for trucking, look at them. Berkeley Prime is also a big one. So you get the Berkeley family. BSB is 1 to 14 units. Berkeley Prime is 14 to, I don't know why it says 74, but it's 50. I'm sorry, Berkeley Prime is 15 to 49. And then you got Carolina Casualty. This just must be with them, or maybe they made some changes. This is outdated, but it's 50 plus. Canal, this is the fleet side. So let's say what's fleet. They do write anything under that. Westchester will do hazmat, 20 to 100 units. Fundamental, I think, is like Freeburg, basically. Hallmark, I think, went out of business or quit writing trucking. I guess I don't know. I've never quoted them or even seen them. Munich Re, I think Munich Re is actually even less than 50 now. Because my buddy quoted Munich Re and it was like, maybe it was 50 trucks for all three companies. But either way, Navigators 50. Navigators actually will play on some really hairy stuff. Navigators, I've seen Navigators actually probably 2-3 times. They were fairly expensive, but they were taking some pretty hairy stuff. Northland, Obsidian. Here's Arc. Arc is a huge player in hazmat. Westchester, Excel, I don't even know what the heck that is. Protective. In-house program. So here you go. Here's the in-house program that they have. So you got Protective, Berkeley Environmental, so dump operations, Everest. Everest is a reinsurance company. They'll do that stuff. Fundamental, Hallmark, Navigators. I even got some contractor fleets. Drive Away, National Indemnity, Everest, Hallmark. Wow. RLI, National Indemnity. They got a Lancer program. They do not have access to like the actual Lancer deal. So yeah, that's kind of what you're looking at. There's like their brokerage fleet side. And then you also, here's the last thing of advice I'll give you guys. There is departments. So like Amwins is like the National Transportation Underwriting Department. That has the basic non-fleet stuff I just told you about. Here's the brokerage department. And then they have Toomey for dirt, sand, and gravel. And intermodal. And then they have an environmental side, which will do grain and hazmat. And then they've got a Draco program. So then you're all talking to different underwriters, different departments. So if you go send a general freight hauler to Draco, they're going to be like, I got nothing. We'd be like, the heck, you got Canal, Northland, everybody, right? Wrong departments. So know the departments, know the underwriters, know that stuff. So yeah, there is how to spend business with brokerage, is how to make how to get some premium on the book of brokerages, how to, just the secret sauce. Nobody talks about this stuff. It is killer. You do need it. Understand what you're doing. Be a resource for these guys. Help them make money. It's just like anything. You go to a mortgage lender for trying to get them to send you property to go quote. You got to benefit them too. You can't say, hey, send me some guys when you're getting some loans on them, and then take 3 weeks for a quote and give a garbage quote and whatever. Like they're just gonna quit sending business. You got to help these guys for them to help you. They're so busy they don't even freaking want your submissions or need them. But if you're gonna go be a top dog and show them why, you'll be like a top producer for them. Then show them why they should do business with you. Yeah, they might cut out some guy who's kind of mediocre. Shoot, now they're gonna be writing more business with you. So understand this stuff. Be the best out there. And hopefully this is a good resource for you guys. Thanks for watching.